necromancers, nocturnals, and the nightmarish. Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 23 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer the Dream Warrior Strand. Together we are two people with a love of horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. You can catch us weekly on all major podcasting services and the YouTube, although I don't know why I do YouTube because no one ever watches it. So
go to fucking YouTube, guys.
Jen, how's your week been?
It's been pretty busy. Toy Fair was on Monday. That went super well. I sold 90% of my products, so big thanks to everyone who came and bought all my horror stuff.
Big thanks to all the people with the monies from all their COVID monies, their ScoMo dollars.
Yeah, right. ScoMo dollars have given me monies, and I love it.
Well, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's to boost the economy of trash and treasure.
Right. Yes. And, you know, my tiny baby small dumpster fire of a business did very well.
Excellent.
How'd you go?
Our stall did very well. We probably did twice as much sales as we did last one.
Wow.
Which is very good, even though the format was quite different because there was a massive bureaucracy error.
Oh, my lordy, yes. I heard all of it, and I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I just wanted to give them a cuddle and be like, yeah.
No, we won't get into that.
No.
So that's the back-end stuff that only people, stall holders like us, know about, where the public just saw it as it was fine. It was great. Apart from the lineup was like an hour to get in.
Yeah.
Which always proves that an event is successful.
Yeah, well, and, you know, or COVID restrictions, either or.
Yeah, that's true. That's why people didn't care, I think, because they realised it was like there was a bit of COVID-ness going around. So
yeah, the cops rocked up. They were checking it all out. They were super happy
Were there cops there?
Yeah, there was cops walking around. They didn't bring their high-powered machine guns, which was fine, but yeah,
Not their gel blasters?
No. Oh, give up your gel blasters. Fuck. So they were there. They did a walk around and they were pretty happy with how everything was. So that was good, but it just sort of goes to show that they're taking this shit seriously.
That is true. There probably aren't many events they have to check out at the moment. So
no.
They probably went, oh, shit, we better go do our job.
That's right.
Safe hole.
Saving lives.
What else do you do?
It's just a very busy work week. I've had a couple of 10-hour days, so by the time I get home from work, which is usually about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on traffic. So I've just done a lot of old lady sleeping and being sore and rubbing Bengay into my joints.
What? Bengay?
Yeah, you know, it's mostly like Denko rub, but it's like...
Tiger balm?
Yeah, tiger balm, that kind of stuff, because my body hurts all over, because my body's not right.
I'm also hurting a fair lot because I've started up a bit more skateboarding, and being the old man I am, I just get back and I'm like, I had the best skate. The next morning I'm like,
oh, I'm so sore.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation the other day because every time I think I'm going to try something, I have to use my adult brain and be like, okay, well, what's going to happen if I try to get on a skateboard? I will possibly fall off. I will possibly break something, which then means I'm going to have to take time off work, which then means I'm not going to get paid. It's better not get on the skateboard.
We're actually, my work, we're going, what's that thing called when we get holiday pay and stuff?
Annual leave?
No, like as in permanent?
Oh, permanent part-time.
Yeah, so we get annual leave and stuff now. We're going to change over to that, I reckon.
Oh, very good.
To help out Sarah, because she wants to buy a house, so she wants to get people stable work, so we're just going to change our whole work for her.
Nice. That's a good business.
Oh, apart from that, what have I done? I got into our shop, we got in Chainsaw Man, which is kind of relevant to this podcast.
Of course. He's got a chainsaw.
It's a manga graphic novel, and it's about a man who lives in a world where there are demons, and you can get paid to go out and kill demons. And he befriends a tiny demon, which is a little like round, like kind of like imagine you know Kirby, that round pink thing.
I love Kirby.
With like 4 legs and a chainsaw coming out for it's like a dog, and he befriends it. And he's so poor that it's just him and the chainsaw dog, and they like go to sleep hugging each other and stuff.
Aww.
And then some stuff happens and they merge together and he becomes Chainsaw Man, which is a man that has chainsaws that comes out of his hands and out of his face.
It sounds amazing.
It is actually.
I love it.
You should see the promos they've done for it. There's like they've made like the real Chainsaw Man, like real models in real life, and it looks sickening.
Nice.
It's so good. I'll have to link you to it. Anyway,
yeah, do it. Well, because I know
that.
Good Smile are like hugely in this pop-up parade figure thing. So they're releasing all these crazy figures from manga and anime that are like a decent size and a decent price. So I give it 3 to 4 months before we see one come through.
Ooh. Well, Chainsaw Man's super violent. For a shonen one, I was like, good. Oh god, like he gets chopped into bits and
I love it.
And stuff like that. And then apart from that, I've been playing more Hades on the old Switch.
Yep.
Finished it. And then as soon as you finish it, you realise, I haven't finished it at all. And now this is the real game.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, it's, more bang for your buck, I guess.
Yeah, that was like 10 hours in as well.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Oh.
So that's what I've been doing.
Crazy.
But we should get on with our homework. Every week, me and Jen set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it scene by scene and basically spoil the fuck out of it.
Yeah, for those of you who hadn't watched A Quiet Place, I don't apologise. We gave you fair warning.
Yes, well, that's kind of what our thing is now. We're basically a spoiler cast for these movies. So you are, as a listener, you are obligated now to watch them. Otherwise, there's no point. We've got some avid listeners who I talk to, and he's just like, oh, yeah, I don't watch the movies you talk about. I just get to listen to you guys, and I don't have to watch it.
Well, that's the thing. I've had one of my friends, Bryn. He's come back to me, and he's like, I really wanted to watch that movie. I didn't watch it, but now I don't have to. But also, I really want to watch it because of how you described it.
Oh,
it's like I never ever watched Game of Thrones, but I really enjoyed when one of my co-workers came in and just told me what happened episode by episode.
Yeah, that happened to me with The Game, with Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my mate just went through the whole film and took 2 hours to explain an hour and a half film.
Nice.
Anyhow, what's our rating system, Jen?
Okay, so we have a rating system. Tells you exactly what we think of said film.
Exactly, in quotation marks. It's pretty loose.
We are loosey-goosey. So we have A for awesome, everybody should watch. B is beer and chicken wing group movie. We've got F for fun and dumb. C, classic that's worth a watch. G, good for its time but has not held up. We've got the J, which is the Jen special. The D, give him the D. With the Dan special, we've got a W for whatever. S, which is shit, avoid. And we've got the Texas Chainsaw Next Generation. FF for fucking fucked.
The fucking fuck. We should just call it. Should we change it to called the Texas?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, let's give it. I'm gonna write it here.
I actually, every time we say it, I just imagine this like crazy like metal guitar riff, like the fucking fuck.
Yeah, nice. So the movie we watched this week was Grindhouse from 2007, which is the collaboration of two Grindhouse. It's basically a Grindhouse double feature.
Yeah.
One by Robert Rodriguez, one by Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
And yeah, so the Robert Rodriguez one is called Planet Terror.
Yes. So directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by Robert Rodriguez. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce Rodriguez. Rodriguez. I always fumble on my words. But it stars Rose McGowan from Scream, Michael Parks, who is in Tusk, Kill Bill from Dusk Till Dawn, Marley Shelton from Scream 4, Josh Brolin, as we all know, is just now Thanos. Or as Thrashing.
Corey Webster.
Yeah. And also Freddie Rodriguez from 6 Feet Under. That's the only thing I really know him from. And then, of course, Bruce Willis and Fergie rock up in it.
Which one was Fergie?
Fergie was the no-brainer. She was the lady whose car was overheating.
Oh, the one that really didn't need to be in it.
No, she had, yeah.
It's like they just wrote her into it because...
Yeah, I'm pretty certain someone was dating her at the time.
Yeah, right.
That's why.
Yeah, I didn't actually know who she was. I thought she was just put in there because she was like she was an actress who used to be in these films. You know, they do that and they just popped her in there.
Yeah.
I actually wrote her about in my notes and then I deleted it all out because I realised her whole storyline was pointless and not worth talking about. And we've done it now. So
there you go.
We won't talk about Death Proof till we get to Death Proof, sure. I reckon.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know what Grindhouse is, so it's a term that comes from the late 60s and 70s. They're basically independent operated theatres in America that would show films of poor quality, missing reels, basically shown as double, triple, or all-night features. The subject matter ranged anywhere between exploitation, sexploitation, horror, splatter, and anything considered disturbing, unique, and inappropriate.
So it's just for bloody wackos and creeps.
Pretty much, yeah.
Especially if you're going to go there for 24 hours and watch it.
Right. No, I'm too tired for that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of these films, the reason they're missing reels because they'd be passed from theatre to theatre and they'd lose shit along the way.
And they just didn't care.
If
I was missing a reel, I just think I wouldn't play that film. Yeah. I put another one on that I had all the reels for.
Although it did work in favour for Velocipasta, if you've seen that yet.
No.
Okay, you should
watch. Do they do it in that? As a
There's
joke?
like a scene where there's meant to be like some kind of car explosion and they just don't have the finances for it, and they just chuck in this like CGI to be added later sort of.
Yeah, like a placeholder.
Yeah, so
Amazing.
Yeah, that works.
So we, as I said, we go. So first up, this film starts. We also mentioned, if you haven't seen this, it has a bunch of fake trailers in between, before. There's none after, actually.
No.
Before the film. So these are trailers that they've got, gun directors to come in and make a fake trailer for a fake film in the style of the Grindhouse genre kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the first one is Machete.
Which went on to become a feature film.
2 films?
I think there were 2. And I think the Canadian release of this film, which is not on the cut that we watched, actually had a fake trailer for Hobo with a Shotgun. So 2 fake trailers from this film were then made into feature films.
Yeah, right.
So that's pretty cool.
Except I didn't like the Machete films. I
remember
them. It was just a bunch of talking and then some shooting, but it wasn't the best shooting.
No.
I do remember there was a bit, though, that when you say Machete to me, I've just got the thing where he disembowels the dude, grabs his intestines, and then jumps out the window and swings to the bottom window with the intestine.
Yes, please.
Yeah, probably one of the best
More
moments in a film ever. But I think that's the best part of Machete. I was kind of like, yeah, but maybe I should go back. Because I remember not really enjoying this film, like Grindhouse, when it first came around. But I just reckon at the time I was in a different place. I wasn't. I had like a break from horror for a while. A real big break, but I was massively into it when I was younger. But there was definitely a break I had, and I think this was in the break time. So when I watched it, I was just like, I didn't know what this is, and I wasn't very versed in what Grindhouse was at that time.
Yeah,
it didn't exist in Australia.
Yeah,
which is obviously where we're from.
Well, we had the Ozploitation films.
Yeah,
that's about it. I don't think we had Grindhouse theaters. I don't know. I wasn't around in the 70s or 60s.
Oh, weren't you?
Or
I was born in the 70s. Boom, boom. Anyhow, so Machete trailer. That's the Robert Rodriguez one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Danny Trejo.
Yep.
Which is great because Robert Rodriguez did Spy Kids, if you've ever seen Spy Kids. And they have Machete. He's basically in Spy Kids, so he's now canon in the Spy Kids.
He's basically canon in Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, well, pretty much.
He's in Dusk Till Dawn as the bartender. What other Robert Rodriguez films are? Don't know. Off.
He does a bunch of really cool stuff. Also, Danny Trejo, he's really big into Pokemon Go.
Yeah, he's...
Animal Crossing. It's Animal Crossing.
My dad or my mum was looking and going, oh my God, that man is horrible looking. I said, he's actually adorable in real life.
He's so sweet.
Doesn't he play... He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's one of the...
Is he?
He is someone's father in it. Oh, he's Diaz's dad.
Yeah, he's Rose's dad. Oh, shit, yeah. Shit, yeah.
So, he's a, one of those, shockingly... movie bad guy looks, but in real life he's a darling.
He's a sweetheart.
So we move into Planet Terror, the first feature film.
Yes.
Comes up. I can see here you've written. These are your notes I'm reading. No wonder I don't remember writing that.
Yes.
You just see me editing your notes as well.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
So it starts off and you've written big Weinstein.
Yeah, fuck the Weinstein Company.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. I don't really like to get in too much into the politics of it, but basically, Rose McGowan actually was confided in Robert Rodriguez about what happened to her experience with the Weinstein Company, in all the negativity, and he was just like, well, guess what? You're going to be in both films as main cast.
As
a big old fuck you.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, which is good. I like that.
So the film starts with straight away they've got the filters all over it to make it look crunchy and grainy. They're using the old feature presentation thing. Yeah, which actually Quentin Tarantino uses in a lot of his films. But they the whole way through they find old candy bar. It's really a experiences film. It's really showing a whole genre as if you're watching it in the drive-in theater. With all the ads and stuff like that. Anyhow,
as intended.
Opens up, Planet Terror, Rose McGowan. McGowan? That's how I've always said it.
McGowan? Yeah.
Rose. Rose Mc. She's a go-go dancer. She's doing a dance and stuff. And I'm just going to put it out here. I'm not very good with women exploitation. I find it really cringy. I find it gross.
Yeah.
I know, though, I could handle it in Planet Terror because I know Robert Rodriguez is a nice dude. He's got a family. He doesn't treat women badly. But every part that it was in the Quentin Tarantino ones, I was like cringing because I know that dude's putting in quote marks ironically, but I just think he still thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, anyhow,
Definitely.
moving on. So it starts with her on a dance. Then
she's and that'll come back later on towards the end of the film. Her dance that she's doing while she's crying about it.
Yeah,
that comes back later on.
Which is horrible. Her name's Cherry Darling.
Yes.
She gets angry with her job, her current situation.
Well, she's a go-go dancer.
Yeah,
she's not a stripper.
Yes, they do mention that.
Yes.
They do the difference in it. They had her horrible boss. Is that someone, the boss, or is this a?
It's just a dude. He probably was someone, but because there was so many people to sort of look at for this film, like in as a whole, that I was just like,
I just assumed that everyone in this film was either number one, an actor, a real good actor, or they were in it for a reason.
Yeah.
As in they were part of the original Grindhouse like phenomenon or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was cast really well. He just seemed like a strip bar,
he was very sleazy.
Bar dodgy dude guy. He's got that good line that you said here. Because she's crying all the time. When
she's like, you can't be crying. It's like, there's no crying in go-go dancing. And he's like, it's go-go, not cry.
Yeah, and I was like, oof, straight away. Like,
savage.
So she quits.
She does.
Like, I'm out of here. I'm quitting.
I'm done.
I'm finally going. And then she leaves. Is she walking?
Yeah, she's walking down a road for... I'm like, you are...
She's going to the bar. There's like a chicken shop down the road.
Yeah, barbecue place.
Barbecue
But
place.
it's like, there's such a huge distance. Like, why would you be walking on this road in the middle of the night? It's not safe. There's no footpaths. Like, what are you doing?
Because it's a Grindhouse film.
Well,
this is what they do. That's what you had to do. That's what I found I really had to do. I had to really keep telling myself, this is not a horror film. This is a homage to bad filmmaking. Yeah. So when these characters make bad decisions, it's because they made bad decisions back then, and so they really do it like he overboard does it in this Planet Terror, which
definitely.
It was fine. So she walks between her job to another job, and she always gets run over by a bunch of course, military trucks.
Yeah.
Which then pans to this sign, which they show like 6 times, like military base,
2 miles,
2 miles down the road. So straight away you're like, okay, military base.
Something's going on there.
There's a military base. And then we cut to the military base.
Because,
And then it comes up with... Is that the guy from Lost?
I've never watched Lost, but yes. He's like this badass British fellow.
British, Indian?
Yeah.
British...
Pakistani.
It doesn't matter.
Calling everyone sweetheart.
Yeah.
I love it when British men say sweetheart. I don't know why.
He's a scientist. He's meeting with the soldiers to do a deal. A shady deal in the middle of the night. For some reason, he is obsessed with testicles.
He is. He's obsessed.
So he's a sadistic scientist who has a jar of testicles he's collected. So when, people rip him off, he has a bunch of tools. I'm going to take your balls.
I'm taking your balls.
And he keeps them. And even later on in the film, all the balls get smashed. And he tries to collect them up.
He's putting them in his pocket.
Pockets,
He's like, my balls.
The testicles.
My balls have dropped.
So
no.
I don't know if that was a homage or just a weird thing.
I don't know.
That was funny and weird and very just like, okay.
Yeah.
So he's doing a deal with the soldiers. He basically, does he fuck them over or something happens?
Yeah, he's in the process of like fucking, or someone's fucked him over, so he's there to collect.
Fuck these soldiers. There's some fucking over happening. There's some fuckery afoot.
There is fuckery afoot.
And we're revealed out the leader of the soldiers is none other than Bruce Willis.
Bruce motherfucking Willis.
And all the soldiers have gas masks on and they're breathing in a chemical, and when they take the gas mask off they start to like pustule and boil up.
Gross.
So they're and then you work out that obviously the scientist is keeping them alive, and they're trying to get more of this gas which is keeping them alive.
Yep.
And then the gas gets shot.
Yep.
And the gas gets released into the atmosphere, which, as we all know, if we've seen Return of the Living Dead,
that never goes well for anyone.
I know. So
no.
Cue the reason that anything can happen.
So then there's a bunch of like face melting and, grossness, and like it kind of looked like the sequence from Scare Package.
It did.
So it was just like, I'm like, yeah, that looks really cool. Like that looks like Scare Package, and faces melting, gross, goo. Yes, please.
And I really noticed as well, like whenever Robert Rodriguez really used editing as a tool in thing. I think he did it way more than in Death Proof. Like, he used it to actually make the violence look better and more aggressive. Like, he cut out frames on purpose to make it look like it was old real footage splicing between.
Yeah.
But he only did it in the bits where there was violence happening and stuff. So he had this real hard impacting hits on like all the stuff happening. And it meant as well that like you didn't have to. You could just cut to the coolest parts,
Yeah.
without having to show any boring scenes and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah.
And in a way that I thought was really genius. I was like, yeah, I think. And when the violence happened in this film and the gore and the horror, it happened in like blocks and groups, like in really quick concessions of ideas. Like there would be a person melting, then suddenly there was a person getting shot, and the squibs in this film were crazy. They just went overboard. Like, someone would get shot and, like, it would just explode out to, like, a bucket of blood for every bullet. I don't know how they did it.
Well, even the scenes where the guys are getting stabbed, it's like, a gallon of blood for every paper cut kind of thing. So it's just like...
Which is perfect. It's like...
Yes,
it's like the 12-year-old me got to make a film. And not saying that as in a bad way either. It's just I was sitting there with the biggest smile on my face going, this is so fun. And my dad was over and he was just watching and goes, what is this? This is amazing.
Yeah, Liz was watching it with me last night and there was a lot of questions. And
her questions. Just watch the film, woman.
I know. And then there was a lot of, what is this film? I hate this film. Why are you watching this film?
Why didn't she like it? I thought I
honestly would have thought that she would have liked this, but also she was playing some stupid game on her phone and then reading her stupid fan fiction for something. So she wasn't paying attention.
She read fanfic.
Yeah.
What, like Harry Potter?
No. I don't even know what she reads, but she's always
gay billionaire werewolves.
Probably.
Ooh.
She's always reading her stories. So she wasn't paying attention. She just sort of in and out of the film, and then she's like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't like this.
Yeah, because you have to watch the film to get the whole story.
That's right.
This film's stupid. I don't understand. I don't like a film that you can't watch only 1/4 of it and not understand everything that's happening. Anyhow.
It's true.
So there's a scene. The gas gets released into the community.
Yes.
I think the scientist, he gets captured and taken in by the soldiers, and so basically all we know at this point is that there is a gas. It's keeping soldiers alive from turning into pustule blobs.
Yes.
And that's all we know.
That's all we know.
Introduction now. A new bunch of characters. Family. There's a husband and a wife. Basically introduce Thanos.
Yep. Thanos and Marley Shelton from Scream 4.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Dr. Block.
So what was his name?
It's Dr. Block.
Block.
Dr. Block.
Dr. Block. So at first you think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And so he's a doctor?
Well, he's not, though, because she's on the phone. So when you're introduced to her, she's on the phone to someone. So she's clearly... You get the sense that she is in this sort of domestic... I wouldn't say domestic violence, but she's in this relationship that she doesn't want to be in. She's trying to leave. He's being crazy. And then, of course, she hides her phone. She gets off the phone, and he's there, and he's talking to the kid, and he's like, who do you reckon she was talking to? And he's like, do you believe her? And the kid's like, no. And he's like, me neither. Like, oh.
So yeah, I didn't quite catch what was going on there. Now that I look back on it, I can see what was happening. But, yeah, so she's basically cheating on her husband.
Yeah.
And
with
so they've
Fergie.
got a kid as well.
Good on her.
Yeah. He's got a moustache, did he?
He's got a terrible sort of goatee. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, goatees are the worst.
Which is not as bad as El Rey's goatee that he will be introduced very soon.
Yeah.
His goatee is terrible.
So we introduce a doctor. He goes to... and yeah, that's basically it. So there's a doctor character. Next we go to the... what's the place called? The Bone... What was the...
Can't remember what the place... They go to this barbecue place. Best barbecue in Texas.
Oh, I want to know what it was called. It was called the Bone Shack.
Yeah, the Bone Shack.
The Bone Shack. That
Nice.
was it. And we're introduced to a couple more characters, which is the guy who owns the Bone Shack, which
Yes.
I loved him.
He had such beautiful eyes.
Yeah, he really
very
reminded
nice
me
teeth.
of Stephen Keaton from Family Ties.
Okay,
Like
sure.
the dad from Family Ties.
Yeah, okay.
And we're introduced to El Rey. His name was TJ, I think, the guy who owned the thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, so before that happens, so this car rocks up, it's overheating, it's smoking
Oh yeah, I
everywhere.
missed this bit out because I found it irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. because they don't explain it until a little bit later on. So this car rocks up. Fergie gets out of the car because I'm pretty certain she was dating someone in the film at the time, because there's no reason for her to have been
She's
chosen.
dressed all Grindhouse.
She is. She's all like, you know, because 2007, that was the time of the low-cut pants.
And didn't she have a corset?
And a festive scarf.
Yeah.
Of some sort. So the car's overheated. TJ's come out to greet, because he comes out to greet all his customers.
He's nice.
He's lovely. I would like to go there and eat the barbecue.
Oh, so would I.
Oh, man, barbecue. And so she's there. She's just explained there's nothing wrong with the car. It just overheats sometimes. She just needs some water. And then, of course, Cherry Darling walks past looking a bit worse for wear, because she'd been knocked off the road by a bunch of military
Soldiers.
people. You know, they have a brief interaction and then that's it. So she goes off. We don't know why Fergie's been introduced. We don't know what her thing is to the film. She goes off, and then, of course, Rose McGowan goes up to the Bone Shack to eat some barbecue and cry some more. And then, of course, we introduced to El Rey.
El Rey. Yeah, I thought he looked a bit too young, didn't you?
He's so small.
He's a small little man-child. Is he a man? Or
He's
a
a man.
What else is he in?
So the only thing I know him from is 6 Feet Under. He's like the mortician from 6 Feet Under.
He's like one of the brothers, isn't he?
He's not. He's the guy that actually works on the bodies. I've
Yes.
not watched a lot of 6 Feet Under, but I just remember him.
Man, that show. Have you heard about the horrible episode in that?
No.
So that's a show, and it's great. And there's this one episode which is terrifying. And one of the main character, Dexter, or whatever that character is, he gets kidnapped by a guy that's on crack, and he just gets taken around in this dude's van, and then made to smoke crack with this guy, and it's so unnerving and terrifying. It's like the purest of terror. It's so good.
Who'd share their crack? That shit's expensive.
He gets forced to smoke it.
Oh.
It's so gross.
Okay.
Anyhow, back to what we're trying to... So anyhow, he comes in anyway, and he's... I guess he's the main protagonist.
Yep.
Him and Rose.
Yep.
Cherry Darling.
Yes.
They have history. That
They do.
You know, they used to be going out, and they do that in a very funny way. He goes that jacket thing. Like, I looked for it for 2 weeks.
That's my jacket. I looked for it for 2 weeks. I missed it.
Yeah, so he is very over-the-top acted. He is like, you know, brooding. No one would be like this. He's like, you know, he's got secrets. You don't know what he's ever done, but everyone kind of knows who he is.
Yeah. They just know him as Ray, not El Rey, but they know him as Ray, and he's always in trouble.
The chief of police hates him.
Yeah.
Unreasonably hates him, which I loved.
Yep.
And the chief of police is also the brother of the guy who owns the Bone Shack.
Yep.
Who is constantly trying to get his brother's
Barbecue recipe?
barbecue recipe.
Yeah.
That's all he
That
wants.
would be me. Like, I just, you know, I want to make more barbecue, so give me the recipe, damn it.
And El Rey, he's just ridiculously overacted. He's like, he talks like this. And, like, you know, he doesn't, he talks in riddles, and, you know,
Yep.
He's ridiculous.
Yep.
He's great. I enjoyed him straight away as soon as he came on, because he was supposed to be this ridiculous enigma stupidity, and he was great.
I feel that it was, like, not the best casting choice, but I'm also okay with it because he is quite short. Like, I'm pretty certain Cherry Darling is taller than him. Literally everyone else on the set is taller than him, but he's like this little fucking spitfire of a man.
Little pit bull.
Yeah, he's a pit bull.
Yeah, later on his fight's a crazy good fight.
Oh my lord.
I've lost where I'm up to now. Yeah, so the first thing I noticed in this film, there's lots of characters straight away. I got a little bit lost. I felt like for, you know, because these are short films, like they're quite...
But they really weren't.
Yeah, they weren't, were they?
Like, this whole feature was about 3.5 hours or 3 hours long.
Yeah, but that includes the trailers.
This one definitely felt longer to me. Like, there was a couple of points where I'm just like...
Yeah, but Endgame was that long, wasn't it?
Do I care about Endgame?
Yeah. Sure Liz does.
Yeah, she does. She's watched that many a time.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, fuck, lost the characters. Oh, okay. I kind of didn't like the idea that I had to concentrate in such a silly film.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, don't do this to me.
Yep.
Like, because, like, you know, the things that these are based on, did they have, I don't know, you're more of a Grindhouse person than me, did they have overly complicated storylines?
Some of them did. So some of them did. They were really, like, needlessly, like...
Have you watched Body Melt? yet?
I haven't.
That has a very needlessly ridiculous, complicated storyline. It doesn't need.
Well, that's the thing, because you look at filmmaking has changed so much over the decades that, because we haven't even, in the show, we've not even watched a single film from the 70s or the 60s or the 50s, because they are so long-winded, there's so much talking, there's so much stuff for such little reveal.
Yeah, because we've had a couple of people like, why aren't you doing the Hammer films? I'm like, Hammer films?
It's going to take me a bit to get to the Hammer films, because I'm not a huge Hammer film person. I love Universal Monsters. I like a lot of the horror out of the 50s. I do like the 70s exploitation. I think it's going to take a little bit to get you to watch some of the 70s exploitation.
Oh, yeah, nah.
Because it's going to be a bit much for you.
I'm such a pussy, eh? Like, I used to be. I just appreciate a certain genre of horror, and it's the fun, the gore, the effects. I don't like exploitation of women. I don't like anything racist. I hate racism so much. To the point where I've never really even watched a blaxploitation film. I don't even know if. And I think they're actually empowering, aren't they?
Most of them are, yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't like that had to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I just want.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So I might pick and choose a couple of films that I think you'll get through, but I certainly won't be like, oh, next film we're going to be watching I Spit on Your Grave. You won't.
I have watched that.
I'm not gonna make you watch.
I watched it a couple of times. I watched it back in the day, and then recently I thought, I'll give it a go to see. The only thing I remember about it is like the bobbling of the blood coming out of the dude's penis in the bathtub. Like, she cuts his dick off, and you see like the kind of little fountain of blood coming out of the water. You don't see the dick.
No.
Which, like, these days, well, why not? Look at bloody street trash.
Right.
Bloody dick chasing volleyball scene.
So good. You should supercut that with the song from Top Gun while they're playing volleyball.
Oh my god, that's a good one. And then just cut in, just whenever they show the ball, just show the dick, and that's it.
Yes.
Oh god.
And then the end of it is like Tom Cruise with his thumbs up.
I could do that. Does
Yes.
he do a thumbs up in that?
I don't think it's in the end of the volleyball scene, but it's definitely at some point in the movie he's like there doing his creepy Tom Cruise thumbs up.
Weird.
Yeah.
Now we cut to the hospital, which is being inundated. Inundated? Is that the word?
Inundated. So yes, Josh Brolin, he's talking to a fella
who's been bitten.
Who's been bitten by something, and it's all a bit pussy. I think his Dr. Block's a bit of a hypochondriac because he's always chewing on a thermometer.
It was, I think that was just like the schnick of his character that, he's always calm.
Because he couldn't chew on a toothpick.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't cool enough for a toothpick.
That's true. They've got that other doctor there that's just showing basically pictures from Rotten.com in the background.
He's just he's so excited about everything. He's like, oh my God. And then if you look at this pustule here.
I was actually grossed out by that because they were real pictures of elephantitis pustule penises and stuff. And I was like, oh, yuck.
And of course, it's at the worst time where it's I'm sitting there and I'm like, penises that are puffed up. And then Liz is like, what the fuck is this? What are you watching?
Yeah, I know.
Goes back to the game and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Goes back to Bejeweled.
I was just playing some weird game called Nowhere.
Nowhere?
I don't know. It's the popular game that's happening at the moment and I hate it because it sounds terrible.
Oh.
But yes, so we're introduced to that.
So this is the part where they're working out that there's obviously some sort of disease or something. So the gas is making people turn into pustules because they. Well, I didn't realise in this later on. I'm just going to give this bit away. It doesn't matter. The gas. You need the gas to survive once you've been infected, which is kind of a cool, weird idea. So basically, you don't die from the gas getting on you, you die from not having the gas after you've been infected by the gas. And that's why the soldiers are constantly breathing it in. And that keeps them turning into zombie pus blobs. And so all these people are starting to get infected and the hospital's getting more running. More and more people are coming in with these horrible pus injuries. I really loved the nurse's scene when she explains her 3 injections. Oh, I thought that was the best scene in the whole, as in dialogue-wise.
Yep.
She's just and just what she looks like and how she talks and what that scene, I was just like, great, you're the best.
She's fantastic. Did you notice at one point when she's got a garter belt with her injections in there as well. She's got a to-do list and the very bottom of the to-do list is Kill Bill.
Really?
Yeah. It's a nice little Easter egg, I think, for you.
Yeah, because this is the Robert Rodriguez one as well.
Yep.
There was a lot of crossover in these two films. Like, they knew what they were, like, you know, they both probably talked about what
definitely.
they were doing. She has this amazing scene where she's like, I want to introduce you to my 3 friends.
So the first one is to take out the sting.
Yeah, and which is an first injection. Especially gives you 3 injections.
Yeah.
And then, like, and after the third one, you'll never see me again. And
Right.
I was like, oh, God,
like,
that's so
Yes.
hot. Like, not as in sexy hot, but just hot.
No, it is. It's like...
So hot right now. It was just... Oh, God, I was sitting there going... I think at that point in this film, I was like, I love this film now.
Yeah.
Like, that is the scene that made me love... Which is weird, because there's no violence. It was just a sickly acted, well-written scene, and it encapsulated, I assume, what Grindhouse was. Like, this really overacted, just more coolness over like, story. Like
100%.
Yeah, and I was just like...
It's just all about how it looks. Because there's so many films that, like, there's a guy that was really good and well known for it. I can't remember. I watched a documentary about him recently. And he, like, recut the same film 3 different times to release it 3 different times as 3 different films. It's just the way it was cut.
That's amazing. The perfect example of style over substance, but actually being good.
So at one point, like, this poor guy who's, like, come in with this bite. So they've determined that they're going to have to take the arm, which is why she comes in to give the injections. But
get his arm off.
the reason that they're doing it is because they're like, okay, just stick out your tongue. And he sticks out his tongue, and the other doctor's like, oh, yes, look at that, like, abscess was, like, pus filled. And
Right, they call it, like, black tongue or something like that.
so he is super excited by this, and then, you know, Josh Brolin, he's, like, squeezing the tongue, a little bit of, like, goo pops out into his glasses.
Goes onto his glasses and
like,
into his beard, like,
Yeah.
pus. And I was actually grossed out by that.
like,
And I was like,
so good.
yeah, but I accepted it being in there. It's like that kind of like, you need
you need
it is that film. Yeah,
You need that.
This is basically like a body horror film when
Definitely.
you think about it.
So then he's like, okay, well, he's like, oh, do you have to take the arm? And he's like, well, if we don't take the arm, it's gonna like lead
Get
to
to
your
your brain.
torso. And
Oh,
we
no,
can't.
your heart, yeah.
He's like, we can't take that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take the arm, which is why the female Dr. Block comes in and she gives him the cool injections, which is just so cool.
I know. And another thing, it cuts to and then Cherry and Ray leave the bone shack, and Ray gives her a lift somewhere. I can't remember where they were going. And then they crash. They crash their truck because there was obviously an infected person on the road, and he like turns off. There's some really cool lines in that bit as well, where they're talking about like...
Well, they're talking about deer.
Roadkill, that people eat roadkill and stuff like that. They crash their truck. They're wounded. And then Cherry obviously has to go to hospital because she...
Well, they're attacked. So while the truck is flipped...
That's right.
The zombie guys come and like grab her out. They basically rip her leg off.
Yeah, so she's missing a leg.
She's missing a leg. And then they like run off into the unknown with her leg. And that's when they take her off to like Ray takes her off to the hospital.
Yeah, and so then the two characters cross over now. So now she's in the hospital, Ray's in the hospital, Dr. Block's in the hospital.
Everybody's in the fucking hospital now.
Everyone's in the hospital now.
It's also good to point out as well that Fergie's character, I think, they swerved to miss her getting... Because she gets fucked up. Like, her car breaks down and she's, like, trying to stop people.
It doesn't show I didn't think it showed what they turned out the way of.
Yeah, okay. Because at one point she's being ripped to shreds by a bunch of army guys.
Yeah, so Fergie dies.
Yeah, she dies. We don't...
You don't care. Like, yeah.
We don't until
Later.
they get to the hospital.
Yeah, so basically we get to the hospital, Cherry's lost a leg, and then the Dr. Block just suddenly goes insane and tries to kill his wife because he finds out that she... Oh, no, first we work out
So he, like, lifts up the gurney, like the blanket off a gurney, and obviously
of a
he's like, oh, we
patient
need
that's
to get
coming dead.
Dr. Block.
Yeah.
And so she comes and... he reveals to his wife that, oh, look, you know, this lady. Because we're like, still don't know...
Yeah, Fergie's in the hospital as a corpse.
She's dead. And they're like, looks like a no-brainer. And they're like, why? And they turn her head and it's like, no brain.
Yeah, it looked really wicked as well.
That's one of the best lines in the film. And, of course, she's upset about it because now we've, like, put 2 and 2 together that she's having an affair with Fergie.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That the doctor knows that he works it out somehow with a phone.
He already knew that they had a previous kind of relationship, and he's like, "Have you been seeing her?" And she's like, "No, yes, maybe a little bit." And then he grabs the phone, he steals the messages, and then confirms it, and of course, then he steals her injections.
Yeah, injects her with the first one, which makes her all floppy.
Yep.
And then he goes to kill her, but then he gets interrupted, so he just shoves her in a cupboard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you're crazy. He was like really intimidating in that scene.
He was very intimidating.
And I was
very
like,
much so.
gross.
Yep.
So then we cut to a police. They go to the police. Savini comes in at some stage.
Savini!
So Savini is the cop with the, and then what happened? There is
So they
arrest
They arrest Ray
for being reckless driving.
For just being there.
Everyone knows him as this reckless dude he's basically Richard Marx from Hazard. He's come back to the town, he's getting blamed for everything.
Yeah.
He's obviously got history with everybody. Everyone's got a problem with him. Especially the chief of police. And he's been arrested, and suddenly, Savini comes in and goes, some dude bit my finger off. And it's just so casual. Like, he doesn't care. There's no, I'm in pain, because it's like, it's a horror film. It's fine.
Yeah,
losing a finger in the movie.
That's a scrape on the knee.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And then he goes, obviously the guy was out in the car, he bit his finger off, they go out there, he's missing, and suddenly they get attacked.
Yep.
By a whole bunch of mutant zombies that are infected.
Yes.
Another great scene of just, like, carnage. Like...
Pure carnage.
Oh, like, there was people going everywhere, the gore edits were going everywhere. This is when you fully saw the squibs were going crazy.
And they just start shooting everyone up.
Yeah, with their revolvers, yeah. And then you got that scene with Savini where he, like, guy comes up to him, he's got a revolver, and he's punching him with the revolver and shooting at the same time.
Yep. I think at one point the guy
shooting.
grabs Savini, lifts him upside down and throws him into a cop car.
Which looked amazing.
Yeah,
which would kill any man, but he just gets... And he's just trying to get his wedding ring off his finger, his severed finger.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Savini. He'll survive everything.
Kind of.
Maybe.
So that was great. So then they realise, fuck, everything's going to shit. We go to,
the hospital has also gone to shit.
Yeah, because obviously all the monsters are.
Yeah, they're all there. There's the guy that they were going to take the arm. He's in this room, and Josh Brolin's there. I feel that this is sort of very out of character for Josh Brolin as well, because the guy is out of the room. He's got this bone saw, and he's coming at Josh Brolin,
really scared.
and he's just against the wall, oh god, and he's getting closer and closer with the bone saw. It's it's
zombie for some
cut
reason.
his glasses, so his glasses are falling off, and he's just standing there. At no point has he tried to run away or apprehend the guy.
You had to take that away. You can't think normal in this film.
Very true. And then in a glorious moment, the plug falls out.
Yeah.
And then the bone saw just stops.
But then the guy gets past.
So then he just bursts this abscess on his face and just smears it all over Josh Brolin.
Yeah, turning him.
Then kind of just starts squealing like a little girl.
Oh, yeah, he probably realises what's happened.
Well, he's fucked now.
He's fucked. And then we cut to, I always call her nurse wife.
Dr. Block.
Dr. Block. The lady nurse.
Lady Block.
Injection nurse. Cuts there just jumping out of a window to get out. And, full on just falling out of a window because she's numb.
She's she got floppy hands still. So she's trying to I got to get into my car now. And that's just watching her do anything with floppy hands is just really funny.
Yeah, so she's trying to get into her car and with her hands that don't work. She's, putting her hand underneath the door and then she slips over and breaks her hand the wrong way.
Which never at any point in the rest of the film comes back.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's a Grindhouse film. People can just shrug off shit in this film.
It's true. It's just a flesh wound. It's fine.
Yeah, so there's basically a comedy scene of her trying to drive a car with
floppy hands.
With floppy hands, and she goes off then to go get basically her kid. But before that happens,
Ray comes back.
Yeah,
Ray's back, and we get a nice little taste of the little pit bull that is Ray, and he just starts fucking shit up.
Yeah, because he wants to go. He's with the cops. He rocks up to the hospital to get Cherry, and he's like, "Give me a gun," and they're like, "Don't give him a gun."
Yeah.
And then everyone just for some reason don't give Ray a gun. Ray just can't have a gun. He's like, well, give me a knife then.
Yeah.
And he goes in and takes on the whole hospital zombies crew.
With some knives.
With this, hallway scene of him just taking them all out with knives.
So good. And he's just so fast, and he's just, knives everywhere. He's, running up the wall at one point. He's stabbing, stabs, blood, blood, blood.
So, yeah, you realise that he's
It's There's a little more to Ray than we think.
Yeah, which is it's pretty obvious. He's just like a secret super spy thing or whatever. Yeah, and so he gets her. She has a cry.
Yep.
He gets to her because she doesn't have a leg, and he's like, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
And he rams a chair leg into her leg, so she's got a leg.
She's got a little peg leg.
But the thing is, like, it's off a normal chair,
Yeah.
and then later on, it's like it's super big. And like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It doesn't
don't
matter.
ask questions
Because it doesn't matter that because number one, you should be asking. There's no way it would have stuck there.
Yeah,
Because
because there's like this big metal thing in her leg.
Yeah, it's like a metal like square pole to attach a fake leg to. But he just rams a chair leg into it and it's fine. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Also, she's totally fine. She's lost a leg. She's not in pain or experiencing
He
any
gives her a
kind of
couple
trauma.
a couple of life hacks or whatever. Like, give her some lines.
Yeah, the useless lesson or useless something number 32. Walking on a peg leg.
Yeah. And then what happens then? Oh, there's that amazing scene. So they've got that. They all go to the Bone Shack. Don't know why.
No, we don't need to know why.
Don't need to know
There's
why.
no reason.
And they have that amazing scene where Tom Savini comes out and he's got a box that says the All for Nothing box.
You're all deputies now.
Yeah, it's just a box.
Everybody take a gun.
Box of badges. Because it cuts to them suddenly just being, and there's a whole group of people that aren't explained, which is rad. There's like gangbangers.
Yeah.
And
they're all there.
So there's just a crew of these dudes which they deputise everyone to have guns, except for Ray.
He's like, everybody gets a gun, except for you. You don't get a gun.
Even Savini comes and goes, "You're not going to give him a gun, are you?"
Yeah, right. And then there's that when it cuts to Dr. Block at her house, she's grabbing her son.
Yeah, so then lady nurse Dr. Block, injection lady, goes to her house to pick up her son from her dad, a strange dad, which you don't really actually
Well, she goes to her house and she's met by the crazy babysitter twins, who are really mad that she was late. And so they
don't have much relevance. I thought they were.
They don't have a lot of relevance. I remember when the film came out, though.
They really advertised them.
They were advertising them a lot. So then, of course, she takes the kid and they try and smash up the car because they're really angry at her.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Teenagers. And they drive off and they go to a house. And while they're sitting out front of the house, she's like, okay, we're going to go in a minute. If anybody
Talking
comes
to the kid.
out.
Yeah, her
talking
kid.
to the kid. She pulls out a gun.
She gives the kid a gun.
Pulls out the gun and is like,
protect yourself.
if anybody comes, just shoot them.
Yeah, what if Daddy comes?
Especially Daddy.
Yeah. And I thought this scene was great. It was horrible, but like she gives the kid a gun, which that's a bit irresponsible, but it's fine. She gets out.
And she gets to the front door and you just hear this bang.
Yeah, and so the kid shoots himself straight away.
He shot himself in the face.
Basically instantly.
And what's really good about this is that's Robert Rodriguez's son. And he basically said, this is a scene that I wanted to happen and I did not feel okay having anyone else's kid come in and do this scene. So he's basically...
Put my own kid in there.
He did not feel comfortable with anyone else's kid doing that scene.
It got quite horrible because then she just carries around the corpse of her son for the rest of the film.
She is. Yeah. It's
never
insane.
comes up. And then she just loses him halfway through.
And then he's just gone.
He's just gone.
It's just like, you're dead weight.
It's because it's just a concept that they would have done in Grindhouse, but they never would have planned like an outcome for it.
No, it's just there. So then, of course, she knocks on the door, and the guy's like, "I told you I never wanted to see you again." We find out it's her dad, and then they go off, and then they're at the Bone Shack.
And that guy is the guy who's like the cop in all Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah. So Michael Parks has played Sheriff Earl McGraw in. So he was Earl McGraw in Death Proof,
which is the next one.
He's in Planet Terror, Kill Bill, and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
So he plays the same character through all these different films, which kind of means that all these films are related.
They're all in the same terrible world.
And
makes
I think
sense.
you mean a brilliant world.
Oh, brilliant world. Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you say that is there a scene in this film that the Death Proof guy's in? Or is it just in the next one?
Yeah, so during the...
I know it was in the next one. Obvious.
So chronologically, Death Proof should have been first. Because all of these different things, and they all sort of link together. So there is a scene during the hospital where you can see Stuntman Mike in the hospital.
Yeah.
So this is either before or midway through. So this is definitely before. And then there's a couple of other sort of little things here and there. Because also Dr. Block is in Death Proof.
Yeah, it's true.
So the first time he goes to the hospital.
Yes.
So, yeah, chronologically, this one should have been first.
You know what? I don't think we're going to be able to get through the next one. Should we leave Death Proof for next week?
We can.
I think we should. But we're still not through this one yet. But I'm just saying, we've been talking about this for an hour now. If we go for another hour, the next one, and then use, too long.
That's fine.
We're trying to cut this down into a tidy hour, this podcast.
We'll do a
Because Jen ruins it by getting a double feature.
I'm sorry. At some point, we had to do fucking Grindhouse. It's not
true.
my fault. It's a 3-hour film.
But yeah, because there's so much to say about like the next film as well. So maybe we won't do Death Proof this week. But let's finish off.
Sure.
Planet Terror. Where are we up to? So let's give it we're only halfway through the film at the moment. We're in an hour.
This film did seem very long.
No, I thought the second one seemed a lot longer.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. So everyone goes to the Bone Shack, and then we're so they're not giving Ray a gun, and then you get the best use of a missing reel scene I've ever seen. They're all at the Bone Shack. They're all fine. They don't like each other, and then it's like missing reel comes up. Sorry for any inconvenience, and then it cuts to just everything is on fire, and everyone suddenly respects.
So like basically it would have been like a 20-minute segment of this film has just gone missing.
Yeah. And
everyone respects him. He's like, oh, I didn't know.
No, the chief of police, and he's just like, give El Rey a gun. And like Savini's like, you can't give him a gun. He goes, give him the guns. Give him all the guns. And like they give him a gun, and he's like this scene of him like he's like found himself again. He's like, yeah,
spinning the gun,
yeah,
just doing all these things. He's like, yeah, back in the habit.
And then Savini's death happens, and
he just gets fucking ripped apart.
He just gets
limb by limb,
and then like through the torso in half as well. It's a great death. It would have been one that. You know, he would have organised his own death and worked really hard on it. It looked really, really good.
He's like, I need to kill myself in this film, guys. Just give me 20 minutes to figure it out. It'll be fine.
Just wait a minute. Yeah. And then they all, because the place is on fire, it's overrun by ghouls. Is it the car's called the Killdozer?
Yeah. Grab the Killdozer. So
they've got this big group of people that don't make any sense, that don't have any relevance to the story, but were just hilarious. And then we get is it the bit where Cherry just does a run for the car? Is that this bit?
Yeah. So the Killdozer, they drive it through, and then no, that was the bit where she was running and she's like her little leg was like flailing. That was at the hospital. She goes to get the car. He's like shooting.
He covers her.
He's picking off all these like ghouls left, right, and center. She gets the car, drives it through the door, and they're like, okay, we need a couple more cars.
So they find a motorbike.
Yeah, so there's a motorbike, there's like the chopper, there's the
Cadillac.
The Cadillac, and then...
Was it a Cadillac? It was like a cool car with no roof.
And then Dr. Block has a car, and then inside Dr. Block's car...
For no reason...
is a wee little motorcycle.
And I'd just forgotten about that.
I'm like,
so you got Ray on a mini bike, and this isn't a mini bike, this thing's a foot long.
Yeah.
And it started with him doing a wheelie down the road on it. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you even do that? They would have had to got a specialist in to do that, I reckon.
Yep.
And then we got a car scene of them. Where are they going? Did they have a plan?
They're going to Mexico. We're going to Mexico. We're putting our backs against the ocean, and we're gonna fight them off one by one.
Yeah. But they work out as well that they are a group of people who are not infected by the gas, because there's there's like a 25% that people aren't affected by the gas, so they're fine. They're never gonna get turned into zombies. So which was nice. Which I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Don't have to deal with any of those like portrayal scenes or anything like that, because whoever's gonna turn into a zombie is turned into a zombie instantly when the gas gets. But then they have like the scene of them like leaving in this road train of cars and bikes and stuff, and they just have a whole scene of them running over corpses, and it's the most violent, awesome thing.
It's like, psh.
Because they've just set up like corpses on the road, and they're hitting them with these big trucks, and they're just like bodies full of blood and meat, and they just explode and get caught on the front of the trucks and cars.
They just kind of look like a giant human-sized water balloon filled with fake blood, and then they hit them and they just explode, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and all the meat chunks are stuck on in the front, and I'm like, yeah, this is wicked. Once again,
the best.
12-year-old me would have been most impressed.
Most impressed.
So that was awesome. And And then everyone gets caught suddenly by Bruce Willis as a soldier team.
Yeah, they like get to this bridge and there's a bunch of ghouls on the bridge, and for some reason they're like, oh, we can't drive through these people.
Yeah, why not? There's too many? Yeah, it didn't make any sense. It's a Grindhouse excuse to push the story along.
Yeah. Yeah. So they get caught, and they're, El Rey gets out the car, and Bruce Willis is like, take them all. Especially him. And like the SWAT teams come from above him and like knock him out.
Yeah, so Bruce Willis, the king of the soldiers, knows who Ray is as well.
So we don't see them throughout the film. Like,
actually,
just at the beginning and the end.
We forgot to mention the bit is the reason why he gives them the guns. Why the chief of police decides to give him the guns. He goes, I didn't know. I knew you were Ray, but I didn't know that you were El Rey. Like, it still doesn't mean anything to anyone.
No. Yeah, I have no fucking clue who he is now, and I don't even care. It's fine.
So everyone's caught by Bruce Willis's gang of soldier zombies, basically. And then we get introduced to Quentin Tarantino as a character, and I was just like, yuck.
Yeah, he is pretty gross.
Like, he is a gross man, hey? Like, and of course, he has the scene with the two women, and
Well, there's just that scene where they take the women, so they're all locked up in a cage together, and then he comes down and he takes the two women. They're in a different cage, and he's like, they're watching a trailer for another film.
Yeah,
one of Pam Grier's films. I think it was like Women in Cages.
Yeah,
which is a good film.
Was that a real film?
Yeah, it's a real film.
Oh, shit, I thought it was just one of the fake films.
No, it's a real film. And then Tarantino, he's like looking at the girls on the camera, and he's like, I'm gonna go get my dick wet. Oh. Yeah,
yuck. Like,
Tarantino, no.
Yeah, but once again, in weird Tarantino way, he has like a big monologue about like, he's such a wanksmith with words, eh? Like, lots of people like his wordplay and how he makes his characters talk and what they say, but they're just his inner voice, and you can always hear that it's just Quentin Tarantino saying all the dialogue in his films.
See, I just need to not think about that because I really enjoy. I mean, like, Death Proof is my favorite Tarantino film.
Oh,
Death Proof is probably in my top 5 films. I really love this film. So the dialogue for me, I really enjoy it. But I just also have to remember that no Tarantino.
See, I like Kill Bill because I'm pretty sure Quentin Tarantino is not in it. Is he in it? Out of all of them?
Maybe he has a little cameo. I think he likes to put himself in his films.
I don't think he is in that one, though. I can't think of any scene. And I've got that whole bloody affair, which I still haven't watched yet. I really want to. We could maybe watch it after this. So, anyhow, Quentin Tarantino has a big scene. He's creepy. He's monologue. He makes Cherry Darling dance at gunpoint with a wooden leg. And it's so gross and all. And I'm just like, I always think that he plays this character so often. Is it just that he's like that in real life?
Well, if that's not who he is in real life, that's who he wants to be.
Yeah, like,
so it's just like a manifestation of what he wants to be.
Dawn as well, the Gecko brother.
He's just gross. He's a gross guy, and even the point where the guy's like, "Dude, she's got one leg. Like, why would you want to? She's got one leg," and he's like, "Easy access." I'm like, oh my
god, bloody hell, yeah.
Tarantino, no.
Yeah, and maybe he's not like that in real life, but I just always hear like terrible women's stories about Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
He never does like a moment. He doesn't do like a Joss Whedon or a Spacey or anything like that. But he never takes it to actually anything happening. Yeah. I think he goes to court a lot of women and asks them out and stuff, and they just always have to say no.
There's a level. He's like, maybe he has a line, which is still not appropriate. But even like, because there was all these things between him and Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
So you never thought. Like, you thought that they were friends, but then, of course, when he did his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood film, and her daughter's in that, and she's sort of said, yeah, no, that's fine, you can go be in his film. So, is there... where is that animosity?
That's the thing. I don't think he's like a predator or a thing or uses his power to get stuff. I just think he really likes women, and he just asks them all out, and they all turn him down.
He's just...
which is fine.
Just gross.
You know what I mean? But he just looks like he's not... he looks like the kind of guy whose bottom lip is always wet. For no reason.
Gross.
So we get that bit. Then it cuts to Bruce Willis is talking to Ray and someone else. Is it? Oh, they meet up with the scientist. the ball obsessed scientist.
He's got a lot of balls.
He's still got his testicles in his pockets. It doesn't make any sense. He's a great character. I like that. I thought it was funny. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't explained. He's a very good looking man as well. I was like, nice, British, beautiful man.
Cut your hair.
It was a bit greasy.
Yeah.
But then again, he was in a horror film.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Willis confides with them and explains what's happening. That for some reason, he killed Bin Laden.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did that have anything to do with the virus, or was that where they got infected at first for some reason?
Yeah. So
Bin Laden, it's a chemical warfare.
Nobody should have been there.
That Bin Laden was going to affect the world with.
Yeah.
Is that what they were implying?
There was something going on there because as soon as they started talking about Bin Laden, I just my mind just went to Popstar with his "Fuck Bin Laden" song.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just like,
Fuck Bin Laden. And Bruce Willis, for some reason, he runs out of his gas in his monologue.
Yep.
That's
what happens when you monologue too much.
And he just, I actually thought this bit was a bit weird. Like, I thought he was going to turn into a big monster and there was going to be a monster fight. But he just kind of bubbles up into this big Pizza the Hut, like, kind of guy. And then, do you remember Pizza the Hut?
Pizza the Hut,
Yeah.
yes. Shit, I need to watch Spaceballs again.
Oh, yeah. The Comb the Desert Sea.
We ain't found shit.
Is that Mel...
That's Mel Brooks, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many pun gags. Like,
yeah.
The jamming the radar, they fire a jar of jam.
Strawberry.
There's only one person that would, give me the strawberry, the raspberry.
Raspberry, yeah.
What's his name? Lone Star.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And that's the, that actor who plays Lone Star is the president in
it's Bill Pullman.
Yeah, Independence Day.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what it was called. I was going to call ID4.
With Jeff Goldblum, who was also in The Fly, which Mel Brooks produced.
Did you know that, Independence Day, just getting off the track, is one of my favourite films. It's it's so cheesy and stupid, but it's solid.
I haven't seen it in years.
Like, every scene is good.
Okay.
Should we watch it after this?
We should.
Yeah. The second one's weird.
Yeah, it's not as good.
The big monster at the end looks good, but it doesn't make any sense why it's even there.
We saw it at the cinema, and some guy had obviously brought his girlfriend on a date to see the film, and the whole time you could just sort of hear her, what's happening? What is this? Like, you don't take a girl to see a sequel film if she's not seen the first one.
Especially to that.
As a date.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I don't know. Going to the pictures on a date is weird. You just sit next to someone and don't talk to them for an hour and a half.
That's fine with me.
Is that just like a normal date?
That seems like a normal date.
At least put the movie there so you've got an excuse not to talk.
Yeah, you go dinner and a movie.
Anyhow, then we get cuts back to Quentin Tarantino. Obviously, we're going to have to sort out this rape scene. He gets a bloody Rose McGowan, what's her name, Cherry Darling, kicks him in the face with a wooden leg, smashes a wooden leg on his face. Oh. He's on the ground, and then she sticks the stump of the wood, which is great, into his eye. I was a bit disappointed this was a CG moment. I thought they could have just rammed it, like a quick shot of a ram into a fake Quentin Tarantino head and then cut to, you know what I mean? So I always think CG violence like that doesn't work. There's nothing going into nothing. Anyhow, it doesn't kill him. Breaks off, though, there's a big splinter sticking out of his eyeball. And then because he's been monologuing as well and trying to get his sex on, he hasn't been breathing in his gas, and he starts to melt. And but he decides he's going to still continue with the rape. So he pulls down his pants, but then you get his dick is it's like bubble flying. You see it from the back, blobbing down.
Yeah, just blobbing down, and it's. I find it funny that they've got the camera between his legs and his little pants are around his ankles as he's doing this pants
shimmy
around your
towards
shuffle.
it. Yeah, so his dick's out of commission, but he still decides to rape her.
He's like, I better move quick then.
Yeah, but so you get this gross body melt testicle scene, which is on the level of street trash.
Yeah.
Like, that was street trash level body melt. That was genitals and body melt.
Inspired by,
yeah. A love letter.
Yeah.
To body melt. How does he... What happens there? I can't remember. How does that end out? He's walking towards her, and then...
Does he get shot? I think, does El Rey come in and just shoot them all?
Yeah, I think El Rey just comes in and shoots.
No, Dr. Block. Her hands are working again, and she pulls out one of her little injections from her garter belt and fucking shoots him with it. And then El Rey comes in and shoots everyone. Yeah.
So, the syringe gun was very cool. Not needed. Doesn't make sense, but damn cool.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? El Rey comes in and goes, I got a present for you, and attaches a machine gun to her legs.
Fully functioning. It's
fully functioning, mind-controlled machine gun with grenade launcher. Rocket launcher, actually.
Right. Because this is where the question started. Like, but how is she firing the gun?
It doesn't matter.
Don't ask that question. It does not matter.
What do you mean, Liz?
Who fucking cares?
Like, it's...
Don't ask the question.
Yeah, this film doesn't need questions. Like,
No.
because it was based on things that didn't make sense in the first place. So, you know, there were filmmakers who didn't know how to, like, you know, rabble up a story properly. They just had ideas of scenes they wanted to do. This is what I think most of these are. There people who have ideas of scenes, and they want to do the violent scenes, and then they don't have to just, like, concoct a story to link them all up. And that's fine. That's how I made films as a tween and a teenager. We just did all the gore scenes, and then all it was just walking to, like, between the scenes.
Yeah, it's fine. You do you.
The machine gun leg, though, was wicked. It looked wicked. Every part of the effects of her leg off, I don't know how they did. I assume they did, like, a green leg.
Yeah, I think so.
And, like, maybe taped it, like, straight so she was walking properly. You know what I mean? But, yeah, it looked great. Like, the green leg or however they did it, it looked real. Like, you could have... if you'd told me she was an amputee actor, I would have believed that.
Yeah.
So then we get... so they're all making their escape. And they're on surface level now. There's machine guns going. Ray's got guns. Everyone's shooting everyone. It's a great scene. There's lots of violence. But then you get the amazing scene of the scientist. So we get the scientist, the testicle scientist looks around. He goes, "Don't worry, I'll have a look to see if the coast is clear." So the whole team is behind a wall. He sticks his head out, and then it just cuts to his head exploding from a sniper shot. But they did it right. They did it it could have been a CG shot, but they just had made this, like, dummy whose head exploded. It was almost
perfect.
On hinges. It looked so stupid.
It was perfect. I loved every second of it, and I'm like, this is the work of Savini, I guess.
Yeah. See, that's why didn't they do that to the Quentin one? Maybe it was just they didn't time constraints or whatever. So he's out of it. Doesn't matter. Because he was, like, the only person that could create the vaccine from these characters. And then what was he? What scientist was he? They said, does anyone else have a
biochemistry? Is anyone else a biochemist?
So their option of creating a cure is off the table. So they're back to their original plan of getting to Mexico and putting the water behind our backs and defending. And then we get Rose McGowan has her awesome scene of taking everyone on with her machine gun leg.
Kind of doing her go-go dance.
Yes, go. So, but she does I did appreciate she did a Halo move, which is like the fire the rocket launcher at the ground to bounce yourself up, which is a very well-known Halo multiplayer move.
Sure.
So she bursts into action by firing the rocket launcher as she's walking. She flies into the air. She's machine gunning. Oh, it was so good and dumb.
I know. She's just like, pew, 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 pew. Kind of look like strike witches when they're like...
Yeah, and she lands into, like, you know, basically a breakdance move of spinning around, shooting people. I'm down with this. For some reason, she's as good as El Rey as well at shooting. Maybe she was, and they didn't. Like, maybe they were together, and they
quite possibly
were supposed to imply that she was also really good at killing people. Well,
we don't know who
maybe they were a killer couple.
Maybe.
That's why. Because he said, "Oh, you still want to be a doctor."
Yeah, because she wanted to go. Now she wants to be a comedian.
Yeah, and that was all her dialogue. All that stuff was quite fun.
Yeah, she has great dialogue.
Yeah, like, because she goes, I'm going to be a comedian, but you're not funny. That's what I keep telling people, but everyone thinks that everything I do is a joke.
Everyone says I'm hilarious.
And then throughout the whole film, I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was great. But then, unfortunately, Ray gets shot.
Oh, no.
Which I was really surprised. Like, because usually this is like, I thought this was going to be stereotypical hero, you know, gets out. But it has a crazy good line where they're like, the two of us were supposed to
it's like us against the world. The two of us against the world.
Yeah, and he goes, it still is. And he touches her belly, implying that she's pregnant. And he goes, I never miss. Because that's been his line the whole film, I never miss.
Oh, God.
So even his sperms hit the mark.
Yep, always.
And he just knew. Because he knows his sperms are so good and he never misses. He knew she was pregnant. Like, every woman he has sex with always becomes pregnant because he never misses.
There's many a little baby Rays out there.
Then we have so we've also got because the whole team's here. So everyone who's been in the film is in this entourage at the end. Yeah. We've got even the guy who ran the strip bar, the go-go bar. We've got the babysitting twins.
Who can conveniently fly a helicopter.
Which was amazing. And then you get a great scene of them, like, taking the helicopter off, flying tilting the helicopter, flying low, and taking everyone out with the helicopter blades. I love
that scene as well. It's just like...
A la Demons that we watched recently, like the old school Demons, and then this was done really good. This was CG, I think.
Yeah.
But this is how I don't mind CG being done, because it was a wide shot. There was a whole bunch of, like, you know, it showed it really clear what was going on. You had the helicopter there and it's moving along slowly with all the bodies getting boom, 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 getting chonked up, and it looked great. Like, I was just like, yeah, this is what you use CG for.
Yeah.
Something that, like, because I assume that a real helicopter, that if something hits the blades, it would fuck it up and make it fall down.
As someone who is not well versed in the mechanics of helicopters, I would say yes.
Didn't you do helicopter politics at TAFE?
Look, it was at uni, thank you. Look, I P's get degrees, man.
What?
P's get degrees. I didn't fail it, but I didn't learn anything.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a note here that says Ray dies, but I've written fires. So Ray dies.
Oh, mate, Ray.
And then cut to, they fly off in the helicopter. Cut to, what would say, a year later?
A
year, because she's had her baby.
9 months later, 10 months later.
It's gone full post-apocalyptic and gone back to, like, chic.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Everyone's all dressed like sheiks.
Like, yeah, like Arabian Nights or whatever. They've found an Incan temple on the beach.
Convenient.
Which I thought at first, I was like, is that the temple from Dusk Till Dawn? The thing's built on, but then I realised that panned back to show it was on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
Because they've dumped all the trucks down. But or was that maybe a Mexican kind of thing? Because Robert Rodriguez always has a lot of, you know, ties with I assume he might have been from Mexico or something like that. But, you know, he did, like, Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and even, like, Dusk Till Dawn, and that has all, like, the Mexican vibes and stuff like that, because they go to Mexico.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to go to Mexico one day.
Yeah.
I don't think I will. I think I've got more chance of going back to Japan before I go to Mexico. But also, there's nothing I can eat there, and I don't drink anymore. So I feel that's 80% of Mexico taken away from you.
Yeah.
Even if you go there. What am I going to do? Buy a t-shirt?
You could go to... Oh, wait, is that in Mexico? There's, like, the Haunted Doll Island. Is that in Mexico? It's somewhere near Mexico. You can go there and go to the Haunted Doll Island. It's just an island full of dolls.
Yeah, why are they there?
Why?
Do people take them there?
Yes.
So I do like I prefer to go to Japan and go to the Cat Island, which is just got a billion cats on it.
Cats.
There's no reason, apart from they just bred everywhere.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like cats.
I think it isn't it. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, then when we get a monster attacks Cherry, she's on her horse in a chic outfit. She flops open her robe to reveal she no longer has a machine gun on her leg. She's got a Gatling gun.
Oh, fuck yeah.
She's got a bloody Gatling gun. She destroys this thing. Its head explodes, but then when it falls down, its head was intact again. I was like, come on, continuity. And then cuts to her back to show that there's a little baby on her back. And then hard cut end.
I really like the ending sequence where they're all on the beach, just kind of like...
Oh, yeah, it does. That's in the credits, isn't it?
Is it?
Or is it not?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're just all on the beach partying like it's like a bloody spring break.
And it kind of looks like the opening title sequence to a 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
So they're all there. And then, like, Dr. Block's there in her nice little outfit, like, holding a machine gun.
Just on the side guarding
just, like,
everyone.
Standing there, posed, and I'm like, yes.
Lady Dr. Block looked wicked. Like, the whole time. She had that look of, like, her hair was always disheveled, and she had that, I don't know what that look's called, like, you know, the panda bear makeup, where you put the black around your whole way around your eyes. Lots of redhead girls do it. Have you noticed that? It's a thing that they do. Redhead girls do, like, the what's that called? You're some sort of woman, aren't you?
Well, the jury's still out. I don't know, the eyeliner? Like,
yeah, but, like, you know, hard eyeliner.
Yeah,
around.
I mean, I don't think her eyeliner was, like, hard eyeliner to begin with. It was all the crying and trauma that she'd experienced. But no, there's just emo face, isn't it? Panda eyes.
Okay, let's move into horror news. So every week, me and Jen take you through the horror news you need to know about. So welcome to horror news, werewolf. I sound like Trump in an interview. Anyhow, what's been happening in horror news?
A bit of a slow week this week, but...
You say that every week.
I know.
That's just new rule. Not allowed to say the word slow week.
Fine.
Because it's not, because you still have the same amount of news every... Oh, so you're just saying there's not, like, you know...
It's not, like, crazy awesome, like, there's no screen watch.
No shadow drops.
There's no, like... fuck yeah, there's cool things happening. It's just cool things on a lower level.
Oh.
So the Addams Family 2 animated sequel is coming in 2021. I haven't watched the movie yet. I think I watched half of it and then I fell asleep.
That's in the first one?
Yeah, not because I was bored, just because I'm tired and old all the time.
I didn't even know there was an animated Addams Family movie, to tell you the truth. I've never seen this.
Oh, really? Yeah, it came out like last year or the year before. It's Charlize Theron, Oscar Isaac. They do the voices of Morticia and Gomez. Chloe Grace Moretz, who you'd know as Hit Girl and Kick-Ass. She was the voice of Wednesday. Nick Kroll, he did Uncle Fester, I think. Bette Midler, Snoop Dogg. It's got a pretty good cast.
Who does Snoop Dogg play? We don't know.
I don't know.
He probably just another character.
Probably. So this is going to be happening. Pugsley Addams, who was originally voiced by Finn Wolfhard, who we all know and tolerate from Stranger Things, he will not be returning. So they're bringing in a new actor. And Bill Hader, who we all love, is going to be joining the cast as a new character named Cyrus.
I like that they've got him. His only thing Bill Hader's done is It Chapter 2.
Well,
what about Hot Rod? When he takes acid and gets a bit of metal into his head.
I mean, that's what most people know him from right now is definitely from It Chapter 2. He was great in It Chapter 2 also.
Oh, yeah.
He was fantastic.
He's good in everything he's in.
Well, that's the thing. He is good in everything. He can do serious, he can do funny, he can do a funny serious. He does everything. So it'll be good to see him. So not a lot of information has been released, but the information given was in this all-new movie, the Addams get tangled up in a wacky adventure and find themselves involved in hilarious run-ins with all sorts of unsuspecting characters. Always staying true to themselves, the Addams family brings their iconic spookiness and kookiness wherever they go, which is basically just
the opening theme song.
Well, there's that, but that's just basically the storyline of all of their films, which is I'm okay with it.
Gomez Addams in this movie is very big.
So because
I always assumed him to be a quite fit man.
Well, you think about Raul Julia, who played him in the original 90s movies. He was a good-looking, fit dude.
Yeah,
but a lot of people did complain about the animation for this originally. But what a lot of people didn't know was the Addams Family was a comic series before it became a TV show back in the 60s or 70s or whenever. I think it was the 60s.
Really?
This is what they originally looked like. So they basically just redid the characters the original designs of the characters.
Yeah, they really are. I've just looked it up here. They look exactly like the comic characters.
Yeah, so a lot of people complain they look terrible, this is stupid, why have you done this? And then they're like, this is how they were originally drawn.
Yeah, they actually, I thought the CG film had done, a bit of, they'd really gotten into it. But they actually just look like that cast.
Yeah.
Even, I can't show you here, but even, Wednesday's got a massive elongated head.
Yep.
They look exactly the same. So
yeah. They've done an amazing job with the design. It's something that I always keep meaning to go back and rewatch and finish, but so many other things to watch. It's like all the people that have contacted me, what are you doing for 31 days of October? And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
What do you mean? That there is just 30... What is that?
It's 31...
I'm just going to do everything I do on each one of those days, normally.
It's 31 days of horror, so from basically every day you watch a horror film.
No, fuck
for
that.
The 31 days of Halloween.
No one can do that.
No, people do. It's a whole thing. And, I kudos to the people. I don't have the time for that. I'm tired. I've got shit going on all the time. I just don't have time. Also, I watch horror movies all the freaking time. Yeah. I shouldn't have to be now I've got to step it up.
Yeah, I say live horror. Don't just do it for 1 month.
Yeah, every day is Halloween.
Ooh, that's a good one. Have you noticed October is the 1 month that gets branded with all pun names and stuff, like Inktober, Dongtober. Dongtober is like the Donkey Kong one.
Okay, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can see all these other...
Spooktober, Octoberween.
Tobers coming up. And ones that I've seen on Instagram and social media and stuff, I have no idea what even they represent because I don't even understand what the first word part of the pun is.
Yep.
And it's only October gets that done. Is there a reason? Is it just the word Tober at the end of something just makes it really obvious what you're doing?
Possibly. I don't know. October seems to be the fun month of the year.
Is it because of Oktoberfest?
Maybe.
Maybe that they were...
It all just works. Like, everything ends up happening in October.
2 months before Christmas.
Well, yeah, it's like the month before, it's...
The end.
Oh, God, Christmas.
I love Christmas. I love it. I love it so much. I love Christmas carols. I love the Gremlins.
Right, we'll be watching Krampus this year.
Didn't we watch it last year? You brought it over and it was like...
Yeah, we did.
And it was like a really
was
bad
just-
one, though.
it was
Like,
just
it just
okay.
wasn't very good at all.
No.
There's all these horror movies that come out like that, and they just don't have much horror in them. Like,
No.
do you know what I mean? Like,
For the Krampus, like, come on, guys.
I don't know. Like, you're given the opportunity. I mean, Robert Rodriguez here in Planet Terror. He's not a horror creator, but he seemed to get what people want to see in a horror film. They want to see lots of scenes of gore and violence when it happens, but in a fun way as well,
Yeah.
like, and really inventive ways. Not just like, if they've got someone getting shot by squibs, the next person gets shot, their head explodes, and then the person after that, a car door will rip their arm off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just like or just one
It's
horror
not the same
idea. It's
shit
just constant.
over and over again, which was the problem with Aquaslash. They had one idea, that's all they did, and you had to wait like an hour for it to even happen.
That's hilarious.
Too much.
Anyhow.
So, yeah.
Addams Family 2 trailer. It's probably cool. We should probably investigate the first one.
Yeah.
But as I said, being the bloody idiot that I am, I didn't even know there was an Addams Family CG film until right now.
Oh, that's fine.
I remember the 90s live action
I
films.
love the 90s
Yeah, they were
films.
good, weren't
They were
they?
fantastic. And I will happily talk about them on an episode because I put it under the umbrella. It's like kids horror. It's like a gateway film for the weird kids.
That is true. Like
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania.
Actually, not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
They're good fun.
As much as
I've
I
seen the
do
first
not like
two.
Adam Sandler, like, yeah.
Is Adam Sandler the voice of the kid?
No, he's the voice of Dracula.
Oh,
He's the
he
dad.
did quite well though.
Yeah, he did.
I like
'cause he wasn't being
Selena
Adam Sandler.
Gomez is the lady vampire, the young girl,
Yeah.
and I always found it hilarious that they made her characters look like Selena Gomez because I looked her up after. I was like, it's just her.
You look exactly like this lady.
Whereas because these Addams Family ones, the CG ones, are based on the original cartoons. They're clearly not based on the actors.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Adam Sandler's Dracula character looked like him.
Yeah, well, they always do that nowadays. Like, there's a lot of times when you can actually pick who the
Yeah, well, it's all motion capture and stuff like that to sort of get the best performance. Yes.
What is our story number 2?
So it looks like Terrifier 2 will not be releasing this Halloween because of COVID delays. So for those of us who were super eager to get more Art the Clown action, we just have to wait until next year.
I've never seen Terrifier. I always see it, like saying, "Tell me what it is and why. Sell it to me." Like it looks. Is it as good as it looks?
I don't think you will like it.
Why? No, is it gore porn?
It is gore porn. Like, it is really good. So basically,
Is he a monster?
He's kind of made out to be like some form of supernatural entity in the end, which I was kind of like disappointed with. But it's basically like this clown, and he's like shit smearing. Is
there poo?
There is poo involved in this. It's a very small segment, so it's basically like this clown that he's completely silent. He just terrorizes people. So it's like this film where these two girls. He ends up in a diner with them, and he just does, like, the guy who plays him is a mime. Like, so he's...
In real life?
So he's got this whole way of moving, and, like...
Yeah,
he's doing all these, like, weird
box.
things, but then he's just so creepy and disgusting. And then it escalates, and it's just fucking violent. It is bloody and violent and degrading in some ways.
So, but it's all just people getting killed, not monsters or...
No, it's people. It's mostly girls.
Oh, God.
And, like, they get fucked up. Like, the one girl gets absolute... Like, I'm not going to give it away. But she get royally fucked. Chainsaw fucked up, too.
What, with a... Like, sexually?
Not
Fucked with a chainsaw?
Not quite.
Oh,
She might as well be.
the worst Tinder date. But he looks scary.
He is. Like, he's terrifying to look at. Like, I love the design of him. It's very basic, but it is very... He kind of looks like the Smiling Man from that weird video.
Have you ever seen a horror movie called Funny Man?
No.
We used to be obsessed with it when we were younger. It's just about like a clown man that comes in. He kills people, but it's all comedy, but weird and like. And like it's got this like funny man. He's creepy and he's cool. The joke's on you.
No.
Like, weird song. Yeah, we should look that up.
Why have we not looked that up, and why have we?
Because
not
I only
watched
remembered it just then.
Yeah,
But
okay.
like,
Well,
back in my skateboard days, we used to watch it before we went skateboarding because we thought it was so funny. It's probably terrible, but like, funny man.
It'll never be as bad as Munchies.
Nothing will ever be as bad as Munchies. It's pretty much up there with the worst films, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Like, people give, some films like saying it's the worst. Like, that film is the worst. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, within its horror genre, it's bad as well.
Yeah.
Bad. Anyway,
So on the official Facebook page, Damien Leone provided an update stating that our initial goal was to have it out this month, October, but like every other production, COVID has set us back big time. We're finally heading into our final stretch of filming currently, and our new goal is to have the film completed by early 2021. A lot of people then start commenting saying that January film releases are never a good idea, and they usually bomb pretty hard. Of course,
is that a thing that people just can't be fucked going to the pictures? Or January in Australia is hot.
Yes.
And January in America is cold. So maybe it's just the extreme weather of like both ends that stop people from going to the cinema.
Most films are always released at a certain time of the year because you know they're going to make big money. So like a lot of the kids' films I found when I was at the cinema, all the kids' films came out during school holidays. So then you just have this massive run.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then of course you've got the holiday films, all the films that come out around like Thanksgiving and Halloween and then the Christmas time. That's when you start making like big box office money. So
big. They
generally say that films that are released at the very beginning of the year are kind of films that are not going to do well and that the studios don't have huge faith in but still need to get them out.
Have you watched that Lovecraft Country thing?
I haven't, but it's on my list of things to watch.
The pictures of the girls and that are pretty
the Flopsy and Bopsy,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
I'm going to watch that, I reckon.
Because also the Haunting of Bly Manor has started on Netflix and I have to find time to watch that. I've also started watching Schitt's Creek and now I have to finish watching that because it's really funny.
Didn't they? We should have talked about they're rebooting the Resident Evil film.
We did.
Did we? Though?
We talked about that last week.
Didn't we talk about just like a CG film?
We talked about the live action series. We've talked about the
reboot. Yeah, we have.
The reboot, yeah.
Oops.
Well, that's okay. So yes, so Art the Clown will be happening next year, not this year. That sucks, but it is what it is.
It's more killy clowns.
I know. I'm super excited.
It's hard to make another killer clown. This guy reminds me of John Wayne Gacy for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But maybe it's the little hat.
Maybe it's the little hat and the covered in blood.
And the covered in blood and the murdering part.
Quite possibly. We'll see.
Did
you see that the guys that made Killer Clown, they did this 40-minute short film about an alien at Christmas? It's like a little stop motion thing that's being released on Netflix soon. That's exciting.
Is it long?
It's like a 40-minute thing, but it's going to happen. Final story. This is just one because I like aliens, you like aliens, and Blink-182 musician Tom DeLonge directing sci-fi film Monsters of California.
That dude's cooked, eh?
He's certainly interesting.
He's cooked.
He's an interesting fella nowadays.
Total conspiracy nut.
Yeah.
Like, just went off the deep end, used all his money to, research shit that's just... It's just supposed to be fun. It's not real. Sure, aliens may have happened, but, the odds of the Blink-182 singer solving the world's problems are pretty slim.
Yes. So... this film, it's basically a coming-of-age sci-fi film under production. Richard Kind is in it, who everyone mistook in the Batman film. What's his name? Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin, and they showed him, and he basically looks exactly like Richard Kind. So it's like, why didn't you just get Richard Kind? Save you a bunch of money.
Save you money.
So it's a coming-of-age adventure with science fiction twist that follows teenager Dallas Edwards and his derelict friends on a quest for the meaning behind a series of mysterious paranormal events in Southern California. This sounds kind of like Stranger Things in Southern California. The truths they uncover begin to unravel extraordinary secrets held tightly within the deepest levels of the government.
It's So he's going to play a government guy coming in.
Quite possibly. And Tom DeLonge will, of course, write the theme tune and sing the theme tune.
Oh, is it going to be just Blink?
Well, he's not in Blink.
What?
He hasn't been in Blink 182 for years.
I didn't even know Blink 182 was still going.
They're not very good. Don't even bother.
Are they actually still going?
Yeah, they've just got a new guy because Tom DeLonge left. And Tom DeLonge has his own different band as well. And
I like how there's this article. It's Blink 182 musician Tom DeLonge. He's not. Well, he's not then. That's a lie.
But that's how everyone knows him. They know because I couldn't even tell you the name of the band that he's in now and has been in for years.
No one cares.
No one cares because it's not Blink 182.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, so that's what's happening.
I mean, this sounds really interesting. I don't get me wrong. I love my alien reduction things. I love my government alien things like that. I don't think they're real, but like Tom DeLonge does. But
not to that extension.
And I mean, if it's good, it's good. I like a bit of intrigue. I like, if there's an alien autopsy. It's not aliens though. It's monsters, isn't it?
Well, it's paranormal. Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of different things.
Maybe it'll be the goblins of Hellier.
I love the Hellier goblins.
I don't.
I love it. So good. So good.
I'm definitely going to look out for that one. That one seems good.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's going to go straight to or who's going to pick it up, but I'll still watch it because I think originally he was going to turn this into a comic book and now it's kind of nice to see that it's going to be a series, so that means a little bit more money in his pocket.
Probably also mean it'll become a comic book after the fact as well if it's successful.
Yeah, probably.
And I'll be able to sell it in my comic shop, Greenlow Comics.
Yeah, right. Plug.
Plug, plug, plug. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's it. That is the news.
That is it, yes. So let me take us out. You've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We're a podcast available on all streaming services, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. We also have YouTube. Go watch us on YouTube. Just have it on in the background. Just plug those views up.
Or just go to SoundCloud. That's where we want you. Or any podcast service. You know when you go on your phone and there's that thing that says podcasts. If you put us in there, that goes to our sound. That references our SoundCloud.
Exactly. But no matter where you listen to us or watch us, please give us a rating, a follow, leave us a comment, a thumbs up. Something positive. We also have an Instagram at TerrorVisionPod, which is pretty cool. You can email us at terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, whether you like the film, whether you hate the film, any kind of comments you have. Thank you.
We also should mention that there is no future homework. So the future homework is going to be Death Proof. So you guys are given an extra week to watch Death Proof if you want to, the shortened down version, not the long one.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the trailers as well next week as well. So, yeah, it just got too long. We would have been going for hours and hours and hours and hours, which is fine. We are trying to streamline. And then after that, next week, we'll get on to my film that I chose for this week, which we're not going to announce yet.
But it's still exciting.
I know.
Yeah.
But you can also check out, if you want a bit more of... If you like video games, please check out... Yeah, if you like me and you like video games... Please check out Hack the Dino over on Twitch or on the YouTube. So we're on Twitch every other Friday at 7 p.m. for casual hangs. Chats about games, nerdism and stupidity. We do live plays. We talk about games and the industry. It's just a fun... It usually goes for around about 2 hours. It's a 2-hour hang on Friday night from 7 p.m. and you just hang out and have fun. So go check that out. And until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.